So all these lines we have from is from Bet Rivers. All lines courtesy of Bet Rivers. So let's start in the Western Conference and let's just get to it, man. I don't know what else I need to set up.
With the first pick, sorry, I was trying to imitate Adam Silver. So yeah, we're taking in the Western Conference to start, and for me, I really want to get in on the over at Memphis for 46.5. I'm going to take the over. Obviously, the big thing here is that you don't have Ja for the first 25 games. But then again, they've been decent without Ja the last 2 years. Last year they were closer to 500, but the year before that they were 20-5. The last two seasons combined, they're 30-16 without Ja Morant. And of course, they did bring in Marcus Smart, which I think is going to help them a lot defensively. Like, this is a team that wins a lot of games in the regular season based on their defense. They won 51 last year. You're telling me missing 25 games of Ja is going to cause them to lose 5 games in the standings? I just don't really think so. I think their defense is going to be excellent. You got Jaren Jackson Jr., who's defensive, player of the year, and I don't see why he couldn't repeat. And yeah, I mean, you also have just a lot of size, some youth, some depth. I think all those kind of factors go in together to making Memphis a really good regular season team. And honestly, quietly, they have a little bit more shooting than they did last season, which was always sort of a big area of concern for them. But yeah, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I like it. It was, not my number one pick, but it was on my list in terms of potential overplays there. I think it's a little bit of an overcorrection to the Ja Morant suspension and, doesn't, like you said, doesn't acknowledge that this team hung in pretty good with not an everyday dose of Ja Morant over the last 2 years. The Tyus Jones for Marcus Smart swap out in that backup point guard role is, depending on which metric you look at, that's maybe an extra 2 wins you're getting there with that upgrade. I think it's funny that they've talked about Derrick Rose as like a leader who's bringing in, leadership and steady. But in terms of addressing guard depth, that being your third string point guard and second string while Ja's out is good. My big concern here is, what does the front court depth look like with Brandon Clark still without a firm timeline coming back from Achilles? I like John Conchar. I like Santi Aldama. David Roddy could be fun, but those guys, one of those guys, maybe even two of those guys are probably going to be in the rotation until Brandon Clark comes back. So do have a little bit of a question of the depth there, but for right now, they are in a good spot, I think, to withstand Ja's absence to start the year.
David Roddy, is that the Pacific Mall Dylan Brooks that they're bringing in? I do think too, for like you and Will said, to me, the Grizzlies, I also had them over on my board as well, just because I do feel like they remind me of a team like the Cleveland Cavaliers, which I'm sure we're going to get to in the second hour, so that they just have the depth on the roster, even with Ja Morant being out for the first 25 games. Like, this is just, they have the blueprint, I feel like, for the regular season success. And I know, like, there's questions about their front court and stuff, but, Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, like, that's a pretty good group to start with around their depth guys as well. So I think that's a good first pick from Will. So let's move it to Blake Murphy. Blake, you're on the clock.
All right, so we're going to kind of go with a team here that's kind of the opposite of what we just said with the Memphis Grizzlies, where there is the depth to withstand it for the Grizzlies. This is a team that I don't know has and they've done an okay job trying to address it, but I don't know that they have the depth to be a strong regular season team, or they'll be strong, but not 51.5 win strong. So I'm going to take the under on the Phoenix Suns at 51.5 wins. And, there is obviously championship upside with that group. You add Bradley Beal to the Kevin Durant and Devin Booker core. You swap out DeAndre Ayton for Yusuf Nurkic and more pieces, so you address a little bit of that depth. Our guy Utah's there to knock down a ton of corner threes. However, Bradley Beal hasn't played more than 60 games in a season in 4 years. Neither has Kevin Durant. Devin Booker has gotten over that 60-game mark, but hasn't played 70 games in a season since 2019-20. So I think when you look at those things, coupled with the fact that they, put together some of this depth late in the offseason and on the fly, I still like the team. I just think with how good the Western Conference is and how likely it is that some of their pieces miss significant time, I'm going to go with the under on 51.5.
Yeah, I love that. I had them under too, and I was kind of thinking along the same lines as you, Blake. Like, I looked up the number of games that Kevin Durant has played the last 3 years, like you mentioned, it's like 55, 47, 47. His Phoenix career, didn't he literally slip in warm up during his
Yes.
first debut?
Yes.
And then obviously missed more time. And to me too, like, is this also for me? It's like when I think about this, because this is such a regular season exercise, right? Like, is this team trying to win every regular season game? Like, is there enough depth? Like, all of these questions, like, it feels like they're like a quote unquote, I wouldn't even call them a super team, but like, whatever. If you want to call them like a super team model, they feel like a super team that needs to like have the regular season to figure things out. And we're going to have those stretches of like 4 to 6 weeks where KD is out and stuff. And, you know, it's cool. They added like 15 depth guys, but like, I don't know, that roster's not that impressive to me.
It's also, you know, to your point about, are they, you know, locked in every day? Like, this is going to be probably the best offense in basketball. What is this going to look like defensively where, you know,
That's a concern,
Kevin Durant at this point is probably still in a playoff environment, an above average defender, but he's not locking in over 48 minutes over 82 games. You know, Bradley Beal, we haven't seen him try on defense since the last time they played the Raptors in a postseason series when he was with the Wizards. You know, you're looking at like, you're probably relying on a guy like Grayson Allen to give you defense off the bench. And anytime you're relying on someone like Grayson Allen for anything other than being a pest, you know, it gets a little dicey. How do you feel about this one, Will?
I mean, I think we're underrating them a little bit, like just a little bit, only in the sense that like I think the closest corollary would be the Brooklyn Nets. And when the Nets did have their 3 main stars healthy, like they were still like top of the conference. Yeah, their defense was pretty tough, but their offense like blew teams away. Their crunch time offense is going to be excellent just based on the options that they have. And I also get the sense that like I think big threes can sometimes not work, but that's if those players are not good working off ball. And we have 3 really good off ball players who are also obviously great on ball players, but Beal knows how to play without the ball. Yeah, there's not gonna be no Hito Turkoglu situation here. Like it's like obviously Devin is very good working off the ball, and then KD is also the same. So my concern is defensively. I totally get it from that perspective. That's why I kind of stayed away from this one, and health. But I don't know. Offensively, it's gonna be a juggernaut, man.
Okay, so here's a question for you though, or just a number for you, I guess. You said, well, those Brooklyn Nets teams, they were lethal on offense. When those guys were together, it clicked. They were the number 1 offense in basketball in 2020, 2021 in an Eastern Conference that's weaker than this Western Conference. They won 48 games. So I'm taking the under on 51.5 here.
Well, I mean, you know, unless Kyrie ducks the vaccine again, I think there are other mitigating factors that might have gone into that one.
Yeah. I'm just saying, number 1 offense,
Yeah,
and, you know, it looks good, and you see the vision. Doesn't necessarily mean 51 wins.
No, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
and I think about Devin Booker too. Like, I mean, clearly we know what kind of player he is, but man, like I'm curious if
Bears.
I'm curious if that's enough, Derek. I'm just kidding. I love you, Derek.
No, keep playing drums.
I wonder too, like, you know, where do we rank Devin Booker at you know, can he be like a top 10,
Oh yeah,
top 15,
yeah.
like player?
Did we
Because
not
like,
see what he did in the playoffs? Like, I think
Yeah.
it's real. Like, that's not like a fluke. That's not like a one-time thing. Like, Devin's been on this like steady trajectory, and obviously he started his career well, but the teams around him were bad. But I think he's picked up his competitiveness on defense, which I really, really admire. And then yeah, offensively, he's just like he just scores from all over the court. He can handle the ball now too. I think those extra reps he got running point guard, even though those teams were bad. I
Yeah,
think that actually
2018,
really helped
19,
him.
2019,
Yeah.
20. He was up around 6-7 assists a game.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I have a lot of faith in the Suns, especially as a playoff proposition. It's just the health and defense for me.
Yeah,
But-
if we were drafting championship tiers or something like
yeah.
that, I would have them a lot higher than I do for regular season win totals.
yeah,
All
one more Suns question before I make my pick for you, Blake. Did you like the DeAndre Ayton trade?
I did.
Okay.
I think Yusuf Nurkic is a guy who, obviously, another guy with injury concerns here, right? Can he
Yes.
stay on the floor? And he is not as good a player as DeAndre Ayton. But when you have Beal, Booker, and Durant, you don't need the best player. You need the player who's the best fit. So someone who doesn't need the ball a ton, works fine as a role man and a kind of garbage guy around the offensive glass, and you know, has been pretty solid defensively in those more conservative
Sure.
drop schemes. They're not going to be flush with elite perimeter defense, but they have long perimeter defenders who should be able to do a good job funneling guys to where Nurkic is strong. I like that one a lot. In addition to that, you picked up, you know, a couple other depth pieces along the way. Just, you know, I don't know how much Nasir Little figures in or whatever, but you know,
Good athlete.
that was a team that had like nobody on the roster.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm rolling with Blake on the under though. I do like the under pick. The thing is, doing this over-under exercise, I always got to remind myself, like, it's so easy to pick the over, especially on a lot of these teams. And it's like, you can't pick over on every team.
So do you want to?
That's how the house gets you.
Yeah, the house has gotten me my
That's
entire life. This is
Okay.
why I haven't been to a casino in 15 years.
So let me, for anyone who
shout out
is
Bet Rivers.
actually going to bet NBA over-unders or is just doing this exercise on their own to preview the season, like something to keep in mind here is there are 1,230 wins in an NBA season, right? So when I do these, I make sure that my wins total up to that. If you just add up the over-unders, it adds up to 1,249. So already these over-unders are 19 wins higher collectively than there are wins in the season. So math, like just on straight math, you should be leaning under more often than over because they've already given out way too many wins.
You're saying I should play blackjack instead of betting on over-unders? Which
Yeah,
one? I feel like blackjack
my
odds might
answer
be
to
better.
playing blackjack is always going to be
How many
yes.
wins did you say there is total in regular season?
1,230.
1,230.
And
so number of wins.
Yes. And these over-unders are 19 wins higher already.
Yeah. And
So
there's-
the odds have already shifted heavily toward over. So that's something to keep in mind as you make your picks.
There's going to be 1,230 lessons this year as well then.
Ooh, yeah.
I like
Okay,
that.
Ty Lue.
Okay, enough is enough. My first pick. Derek, man, can I get a drop?
Not after you slandered him.
That's
Come on.
enough, Derek. I'm taking the Denver Nuggets over 52 and a half. I know there's a lot of talk about parity last season. The Nuggets were the number one seed with just 53 wins. I'm actually shocked at this total for Denver. They're bringing back their whole team. I know they lost Bruce Brown and Calvin Booth wasn't too concerned about that. We could get into that. I also looked up the previous number one seeds and their win totals in like the last 5 years. Now there's some like, I guess, messiness because of the shortened seasons, like pandemic and all this stuff. But the year before, Phoenix had 64 wins as the number one seed. Utah won 52 in a season where they played 72 games. Pandemic shortened season, the Lakers were 52 and 19. Warriors the year before that was 57. I think clearly Denver is going to be a top team in the West. I'm betting on them to finish first again. And I think if they're finishing first coming off their championship season, they're healthy. They've got a solid group of guys. Like 52 and a half, I feel like they're going to clear that easily.
That's such a strange end to the season because the Raptors competed with them super hard and beat them once and nearly beat them the second time, if not for some questionable officiating towards the end there. Shouts to Scott Foster, who ejected Scotty Barnes. No, but seriously, like they just like took it so easily towards the end of the season. And I do wonder, like, if they're A, going to do that again, or B, if they're going to, well, they might do it again just because they're like, this worked really well for the playoffs. Like, we just took the last month off, and then we won the title, right? But, I mean, at the same time, we know the quality of their team is much more than, what's the number, 52 and a half?
52 and a half, yeah.
Yeah. There's also playing in Denver. Like, I feel like that just gives you an extra at least 5 games. Just, like, their home records, like, even with a bad team, obviously this is a great team, even with a bad team, like, they still have an incredible home court advantage. So, I like this one.
And the only reason why they took it easy last year, because like obviously they had the number one seed like pretty wrapped up. It only takes one team to like be chasing them this year
And
for them to not take the foot out of the pedal, right?
Yeah, and this was a situation where Nikola Jokic was tanking his own MVP votes. Never seen a man tank his own MVP odds, but he kind of felt like it, right?
Well,
And
he won the thing that mattered.
Yeah.
Congrats to Joel Embiid.
What does that mean? The horse race? Because that's the only
No,
thing
he
that matters
won the
to him.
championship. Embiid got the MVP, but who cares?
Yeah, he's got his Pi oh my that he's
You
keeping
tell
an
me
eye
she
on
won
the
the
phone all
Brianna
the
Stewart
time.
MVP?
Okay, so if you want the case against this,
Yes.
So I'm with you. I like the Denver Nuggets. They don't to me look like a team that has the identity of a big regression candidate or anything like that. And even losing Bruce Brown, you're replacing him with some interesting young players. Christian Brown is going to play more. Julian Strawther has looked unbelievable in preseason. Peyton Watson is a guy who could be a depth guy there that I like. So I think they're going to be fine through that. The case against it would be, and Alex, this is kind of the counter to your number one seed thing. Of the last 22 champions, 16 have hit the under the next year. Generally, the defending champion eases off a little bit in the postseason. The other thing would be that some of their underlying defensive performance last year looked a little bit fluky. Like opponents hit a crazy low percentage of their threes against Denver. And when you dig in, I mean, we generally speaking, teams don't have a great impact on, I put a chart in my most recent Raptors piece at sportsnet.ca. You can control where the threes come from and how many threes an opponent has, but you don't have a lot of control over what percentage your opponent hits once they shoot them. and you dig into Denver, and so maybe they got a little fortunate there. I still think the positives outweigh those two factors. That would just be the case against it here.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think too, like they just, I don't want to underestimate the fact that they went through that championship run too, right? Like I feel like that kind of changes them. We saw that with the Raptors here too, like after their title run, even after, Kawhi betrayed us and went to the Clippers. But like, yeah, no, I really like this team. I just saw the 52.5 and I was like, damn. All right, so second round, back to Will Lou. You're on the clock.
So with my second pick, I want to take the Golden State Warriors over.
Damn it.
This is an aggressive one because Golden State only won 44 last year. The over here the line is at 48.5. So I'm trying to say that they're winning at least 5 more than last year. But there's just there was so much just extra BS that went into last season.
You mean a teammate punched another teammate?
Right. One teammate in Draymond punched out Jordan Poole, then made a documentary apologizing to Jordan Poole, kinda, and then the all that stuff leaked out, and then I think against the backdrop of that, I mean, obviously Poole was just kind of off all season.
Well, who on the Warriors can drop 41 in a preseason game though?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Honestly, I think the Wizards are aiming for the preseason championship, and the Warriors are aiming for the postseason.
It's on the line tonight. Raptors, Wizards are the two best preseason teams.
Yo, guys, you know what? Forget the in-season tournament. How about a preseason tournament?
Can
I get you in on that, Blake?
That's how we can get the European teams to compete with the NBA teams.
There you go.
Yo, tell Cans to fly back. Let's go.
No, actually, they can stay wherever they are. But yeah, I mean, the Warriors last year, Jordan Poole was off. He's gone. Clay was coming off of injuries, and he came into camp out of shape. He was worried because the year before that, he's come off the injuries. He was working on a ton, and he got injured playing pickup. So the next time around, he was really relaxing, trying to get into it. During the course of the season, that really cost the Warriors a lot of games that year as well. Yeah, and then you bring in Chris Paul, who I know Chris is old and everything like that, but everywhere he goes, he raises the floor of the team.
Yeah.
And when you compare how responsible a player Chris is versus Jordan Poole, they're the exact polar opposites in terms of chaos. So I like this a lot. Plus, it's the Warriors. Their baseline should be a 50-plus win team.
So, Will, how much of this, obviously, I think, their starting 5 is pretty straightforward, right? Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. Well, I mean, who their 5 best guys are is straightforward. Right. So, yeah, maybe Chris Paul. I think they're just being silly trying Chris Paul off the bench. I don't think he's actually going to come off the bench. Wiggins is in there as a starter, and then Draymond Green when he's healthy. So, we know what that looks like. Understand that Chris Paul said crazy that Klay Thompson had a bad start to last year and ended up shooting 41.2% on more than 10 threes a game. Yeah. Set a career high in made threes per game while he was verbally after every game being I don't feel very good. I feel like I'm out of shape. And so
he's the next Jeff Teague.
That stuff is
he's I suck.
Is there. Now, to win 50 games over the course of a regular season, when you have one of the oldest starting 5s in basketball, you're going to need some depth to kick in here. Will, when you pick this over, how much of that is a bet on Jonathan Kuminga in year 3 here at age 21 being not only, we know he's going to be in the rotation, but making an impact in the rotation?
I think it's going to be nice because he's going to play a lot of minutes with Chris Paul. And Chris has a very similar effect to Kyle Lowry where he almost controls and manipulates you in a way where it's he guides you either by force or by trick into doing the right things. So I'm thinking about the years where Kyle would run an effective bench unit with Bebe Nogueira, as his backup center, or Terrence Ross back when he was super up and down. So I think he can do the same thing with Kuminga, and I think that, they're playing Kuminga a lot at small ball 5. I don't mind that look. And they also have Dario Saric, who can kind of play a similar small ball 5 role, but in an entirely different way in terms of more his distribution, maybe even some shooting. Kuminga is definitely more force going to the basket and things like that. But I actually like this squad, and I think that, you just cut out a lot of the BS that happened last year. That alone is going to get them over the top. I had a lot of conversations with Andy Liu over the summer, a friend of the program. And
personal conversations or basketball?
Both, actually.
Oh, okay.
We had a 5-hour dinner in SF, and actually in San Mateo. It's technically not
SM.
SM, yeah,
SM,
that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, he detailed a lot of the issues that went on in the organization. I'm okay. So I'm hoping that they rebound.
So you guys just swapped scoops on
we
both
actually
teams?
did. He was like, "What?" I was like, "What? What went wrong with the Golden State Warriors?"
Asian Woj and Shams meeting that took place over hot pot. What's going on?
It actually was hot pot.
Before I throw it back to Blake to make his pick, I just did some boy math on this about the Warriors. Last year, the one thing that stood out was they were 11-30 on the road. and they just like could not win on the road. Like this was a whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So they
I knew it was bad.
Yeah,
but
no, they were 11.
jeez.
They were 11-30, and they went 33-8 at home. They've always been a great home team under Steph Curry. So if I assume they go, let's say they go 27-14 at home this year, and I will give them a bounce back with this new team. Go 22-19 on the road. I'm not asking for a lot. That's 49 wins right there.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I'm with Will. Like the 48.5 does strike me as low.
It's also just easy to root for the Warriors, man. For me personally, I just like watching their style of basketball, so I just
Yeah.
want to give myself extra incentive to root for the Warriors.
The house always gets you, bro.
It's actually Andy Lou. I should just want to root for Andy.
All right, Blake Murphy, you're on the clock again.
All right, so this one isn't as fun and playoff relevant as some of these other ones, but punching down here, I'm going to take the under on the Utah Jazz.
Nice.
That line is at 35.5. They won 37 games last year with an underlying metric or a Pythag of 39 wins. So this is a real regression case here for me to take the under. And I thought that, I went a couple different ways on it because not only did they win 37 last year with better underlying metrics, they also sold at the deadline and peeled back, right? Like this is a team that probably could have been in the play-in mix if they really wanted to. However, when I dug in a little bit more, that good start to the season was really the first 3 weeks of the year. Like they went
were
10-3.
Yeah.
And then they cooled off. Then they were just like average to average bad before getting like really bad down the stretch. I look at some of the pieces and I don't find it that convincing that they're a 500-ish team. Like I think last year was a cool story. I think it's great that they were able to, do that and find some value in Lauri Markkanen and do something with Taylor Horton Tucker and Jordan Clarkson and stuff like that. But like I just named 3/5 of their starting lineup.
Yeah.
Like that, those are not big names. And if it's not Jordan Clarkson, like if he ends up coming off of the bench instead, Keontae George is going to start at point guard at 19 years old.
Right.
And point guard is the single position where even if you're really good as a rookie, it takes a long time to make an impact on winning. So I don't want to be negative about these guys. They employ Chris Dunn, who everyone knows I'm incredibly fond of and still believe in. I look at the pieces here. I look at the potential for them to maybe do what they did last year, where even if things are going decently well, you sell because it's not about this year.
Yep.
So I think when those things add up and how good not even just the top and middle of the West are, hard for me to see them getting to 36 wins.
Yeah, this was the one I had on my list too. And the only thing I would add to that, because you covered most of the points, was just no, it's all good. 2024 first round draft pick, they owe it to OKC, top 10 protected. So they have a really strong incentive to tank if they get close.
Yeah, I think that's a great point as well. And there are going to be a couple that come up on the Eastern Conference where, those incentives either are or aren't there. And maybe that informs things for you. But that's always, the Raptors pick, of course, is owed top 6 protected. We're not going to talk about that necessarily this year unless the Raptors are like really far down the standings. But a top 10 protected pick, we're talking about like the Mavericks.
It's very controllable. Yeah.
The Mavericks ducked out of the play-in last year because they owed the Knicks a top 10 protected pick. And it worked out. They got to keep their pick exactly by doing that. I think it's a great point. The Jazz could be in exactly that situation where not only are you selling timeline-wise, but yeah, if you're at the door of the play-in, you'd rather not be in.
Yeah, I really wasn't sure about this Jazz line, so I kind of just left it alone. But my one note is, I saw Andy Larson. He covers the Jazz. He tweeted out the Jazz locker room pregame music playlist from yesterday's preseason game.
Okay, let's hear it.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, Under the Bridge.
Oh, what?
Linkin
never mind,
Park.
I'm taking over.
Linkin Park,
Over.
In the End.
Over.
Linkin
Over.
Park, Numb.
Over.
No Numb Encore, though.
Over.
And do you guys know this? Trapped? T-R-A.
Oh, yeah. Headstrong? Is that the song? Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay, Derek, can I hear Headstrong on the way back on the next break? But okay, so yeah, I guess it's my turn.
That is really, the 2023 Utah Jazz are listening to a lot of alternative music while they watch wrestling in their parents' basement in 2004.
Well,
what's going on
someone
here.
said that must have been Kelly Olynyk controlling the playlist.
Oh.
So it might check out.
Yeah, honestly.
All right, I'm gonna make my pick and then we can take the break. So I'm gonna go with Dallas Mavericks 44.5 under.
Wow.
I looked at this team.
Uh-oh.
Listen, I respect Luka, but I look at this Mavs roster. I look at the rest of the West, and I start going through the teams that I think are better than Dallas.
Yeah.
I think I could pick like 9 teams, maybe 10. Like I just don't understand. Like Doncic, they got Luka, they got Kyrie, but after that, like what do they really have? Like how many blue chip young prospects do they really have?
I like Green a lot as like
Right.
a perimeter
could-
defender
yeah,
type
he
and
could
like
be
a
okay.
cutter. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
not a guy who's helping with the scoring load,
Right.
and you need to see a good amount of offensive development for him to, and yeah, I mean, they added Seth Curry and Grant Williams, which are not nothing.
Sure.
But yeah, if you're talking about how their big two matches up with other big threes,
I
they're a big
just-
two with a supporting cast.
Yeah, I just don't like their roster. And have we just forgotten that Kyrie has not worked out in every place he's been in?
Well, have you forgotten that last year when Kyrie got traded to Dallas, that whole situation just didn't work out for them at all?
They went 5-11 when Kyrie and Luka played together.
Yeah.
And they put up great offensive numbers, right?
No, they did.
Yeah, but it didn't work.
Look, I do have some hope that they can work it out because I do believe just talent alone, that'll be better than that. But it didn't really feel like anything they were doing were like they were synergizing off of each other. You know what I mean? Like for example, I have a lot of faith, as I said earlier, in the Suns players being able to work off of each other. They all know how to work off ball. These two are very heavily on ball kind of guys. And, I do feel like Kyrie, I believe in him. He's had some really, really strong seasons recently, but injuries have obviously gotten him as well. And yeah, I mean, honestly, if Dallas makes the playoffs, essentially if Dallas hits this mark and hits the over, like I think Luka should be in like MVP discussion.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the big argument for it, right? Is like, well, you still have an MVP candidate and arguably, a top 3 player in the world. What does that look like for you? But yeah, that's a lot on his shoulders, and it hasn't worked out in other iterations.
I just don't like this roster around him. I love the roster pre-Kyrie around him a lot better.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Just a big Dorian Finney-Smith
I just miss
fan,
my guy Spencer Dinwiddie and DFS, not to be confused with DF West.
I guess the other thing here, Will, is we mentioned that they tanked to maintain their pick last year. Now, they didn't end up picking 10th. They used that to get off of Davis Bertans' contract and slid down to 12. When you're a team that is trying to optimize right now against Luka Doncic, and your first-round picks are a Canadian prospect who we love and want to see do well, and Omax Prosper.
Omax is going to be good. I'm not
and
worried.
then who was the other one? Derek Lively Jr.
Lively.
Yeah,
he's not ready right now.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you see, you think, hey, they're a win-now team around Luka and they get 2 first-round picks. Are you thinking either of those guys make an impact for this team this year?
I think Omax has a higher chance of it.
Okay.
His path to be coming in at 3 and D, like best case scenario, probably be similar to OG when he was a rookie for us in Toronto. But Derek Lively, he just didn't really have a great season at all last year at Duke, and I just feel like he's just not really ready for this role. I mean, defensively, it's going to be such a big challenge having to cover up behind Luka and Kyrie. So. Yeah, I don't know.
They went out and got Rashawn Holmes to try to help with that, and Dwight Powell, who obviously, again, we're very
Dwight
fond
Powell.
of here. They're trying to get the Canadian vote with Omax and Dwight Powell.
It's just not a very exciting roster, man.
Yeah.